My name is Lily. This is my real story. I want to speak slowly. I want to speak honestly. English is not my first language, but these feelings, they are real. And maybe someone listening will understand. This is the story of how I left my home to look for a better life, and how I lost parts of myself on the way. I was born in a warm country. There was sun almost every day. The sky was blue. The air was soft. People talked loudly, laughed loudly, lived loudly. The life was not perfect, but it was familiar. It was home. I had family. I had friends. I had memories in every street. But I also had dreams. I wanted more opportunities, more money, more security, a better future. Everyone was talking about going abroad, about building a new life, about success. And I believed that if I moved to England, my life would change. So I made the decision. I left. I remember the day I packed my suitcase. I told myself, this is the beginning of something big. I didn't know it was also the beginning of loneliness, of sadness. When I arrived in England, everything felt different. The first thing I noticed was the weather. Grey sky, rain, cold wind. I came from warmth and sunlight, and suddenly I was walking under heavy clouds. The air felt heavy too, like the sky was pressing down on me. I told myself, it's okay, you get used to it. But weather was not the only thing that changed. I realized very quickly that I was alone, completely alone. I only knew a few words in English, simple words, not enough to explain how I felt, not enough to show my personality, not enough to defend myself or express my thoughts. I felt small, I felt invisible. Sometimes I wanted to speak, but the words did not come. They were stuck inside me. And when you cannot express yourself, you start to lose yourself. After some months, reality started to hit me. Life was not like the dream. I worked from morning until night, every day. Wake up, work, come home, tired, sleep, repeat. I thought I would build something beautiful. Instead, I was just surviving. One day, I was walking alone in the rain. I remember this day very clearly. It was cold, the wind was strong. My hands were freezing. I walked through a park. I saw families, parents holding hands with their children, couples laughing together, friends drinking coffee. And I was alone. I asked myself, what am I doing here? That was the first time I really doubted my decision. Was this a mistake? Loneliness is a strange feeling. At first, you think you are strong. You think you can handle this. But loneliness grows slowly. It sits next to you when you eat alone. It sleeps next to you at night. It walks with you in the streets. In my country, I was never alone. There was always someone to call, someone to visit, someone who knew me since childhood. In England, nobody knew who I was. I tried to make friends. English people smile politely. They say hello, how are you? They say we should meet for a coffee. In my innocence, I thought it meant friendship. But I learned that sometimes it is just politeness, not connection. I tried many times. I said hello. I asked questions. I tried to open my heart. But nothing became deep. Nothing became real. Every time I thought maybe this is the beginning of a friendship, it ended before it even started. Another small heartbreak, another quiet disappointment. Years passed, days become months, months become years. All I did was work. I told myself this is temporary. One day it will be worth it. But life was passing. Christmas became the hardest time of the year. The back home, Christmas was loud and warm. Family around the table, food everywhere, laughter, music. In England, Christmas was silent. Sometimes I walked, sometimes I stayed alone in my room. I missed sitting in a coffee with my childhood friend, talking for hours about nothing and everything. I miss simple things, the smell of my mother's cooking, the sound of my language everywhere around me. The feeling of belonging. You don't understand what belonging means until you lose it. The hardest part was when some family members passed away. I could not always be there. I could not say goodbye properly. I could not hold their hands in their last moments. I was in another country, working, having big dreams, trying to build a better life. But those moments, money meant nothing. Success meant nothing. I felt guilt, deep guilt. I started to ask myself, what am I doing here? What am I sacrificing? Depression slowly entered my life. It was not loud, it was quiet. It was waking up with no motivation. It was crying without understanding why. It was feeling empty even when everything looked fine outside. I could only afford to go home once a year. Those few days, those were the only days I felt alive. When I was home, I felt loved. I felt seen. I felt like someone's daughter, someone's friend, someone who belonged. Then I will return to England and the emptiness will come back. I tried to find love in England. I tried a few times, but my heart was already tired. I became focused on security, on work, on stability. Love needs openness. It needs emotional energy. I didn't have that anymore. My heart became safe, but empty. I protected myself so much that nobody could really enter. Years passed like this: work, responsibility, silence. Now, after many years, something strange happened. I feel like a stranger in England. But when I go back to my home country, I also feel like a stranger there. Life moved without me. Friends build families. They have children, new routines, new lives. I missed so many moments. I'm not fully from here. I'm not fully from there. It feels like standing between two worlds and belonging to no one. Sometimes I walk through the forest in England. They are beautiful, quiet, green. I walk alone and I ask myself questions. Was it worth it? Is money worth the emptiness? Was the dream real, or was it just an illusion? Deep inside my soul, I know something. I know that maybe it was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. But I am also afraid to say it out loud. Because if it was a mistake, then what now? If I stayed in my country, maybe I would not be rich. I'm not rich here either. Maybe life will still be difficult, but maybe I would have my people. Maybe I would have love. Maybe I would not feel this constant longing. I keep asking myself, is it worth living everything for money and dreams that might not even come true? It is worth losing your language, your culture, your family. I don't have a clear answer. Some days I think yes, some days I think no. What I know is this: moving to another country changes you. It makes you stronger, but it can also break parts of you. Why I'm sharing this? I'm sharing this because many people think moving abroad is only success. They see pictures, smile, beautiful places, but they don't see the nights of crying. They don't see the loneliness. They don't see the silent battles. If you are living abroad and you feel this way, you are not weak. If you are thinking about leaving your country, think carefully. Money can be comfort, but it cannot replace belonging. It cannot replace sitting next to someone who truly knows you and loves you. Today, I'm still here, still in England, still thinking, still searching for something, maybe peace. My heart is safe, but sometimes I wish it was less safe and more alive. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe one day I will go back home. Maybe one day I will finally feel at home here, or maybe I will always carry this feeling of being in between. But this is my truth. My name is Lily, and this is my story. If you listened until the end, thank you. Maybe you understand, and maybe we are not as alone as we